By now, I'm sure you've all heard about the concerned parent in Forest Lake, Minnesota, who is really worried about how much her son's religious freedoms and freedom of speech are going to be violated. But in case you haven't, we'll recap quick. Take it away, Laura.
I was reading the policy on harassment. There are some differences in the language that bring some concern to me that they might end up being interpreted in a way that could violate religious freedom or freedom of speech. To give you an example, so a religious freedom would be that I teach my children that they are not to use pronouns, they are not to identify themselves by pronouns, they are not to call somebody other than they are.
Laura, honey, then what do you call your children? Dumb and ass? Because if that's what you're teaching them, that's what you're turning them into. I, you, he, she, it, they, ours. Those are all fucking pronouns, Laura. Kind of like how your name's Laura, but your pronouns are annoying/Karen. Anyway, Laura, was there anything else? Because I'm sure your rant can't get any dumber. That's rhetorical. I know there's more, and I know it gets a whole lot dumber. So dumb, in fact, I'm sure there's a real specific offensive word you would use to describe it. I just can't quite remember what that might be. Maybe you can give us a refresher.
An example of a violation of freedom of speech, I recently learned from one of my kids in high school that a word that I regularly use that I think is a regular word is apparently on the don't use list, which is the word retard.
Ah, right, that's the one.
Retard means slow, it's in the dictionary.
You know what else is in the dictionary, Laura? Fucking pronouns, Laura. Pronouns are in the dictionary, too. So maybe don't get so fucking uppity about what words are in the dictionary that you think people should be allowed to say, Laura.
And I did not realize, no, you cannot control my speech, Mr. Refill. So you cannot. I can use the word retard.
Yeah, sure, Laura, you can use it, just like I could use the N-word, but my complexion means I shouldn't. Kind of like how you not knowing what a pronoun is means you're clearly not speaking from a place of enough cognitive authority to be insinuating anybody else is slow. So you clearly shouldn't be using the R-word unless you're referring to yourself. And even then you shouldn't, because you should have more self-respect than that, even though there's really nothing to respect. Speaking of a massively hypocritical lack of self-respect, does anybody want to guess where Laura's husband is from? Bueller? If you guessed Mexico, you'd be wrong, but close. I mean, not close geographically, but on the right path. Okay, I'll tell you. The answer is Kenya, which happens to be a country in Africa. And if I remember correctly, Dear Leader had a real specific description for countries in Africa. What was that again? Pie hole? No, that ain't it. Jackson hole? No, that's not it either. Glory hole? No, that's between Trump and Elon's bathroom stall. Ah, screw it. I can't remember. And honestly, who really gives a shit anyway, huh? Anyway, I've been reviewing some of the proposed upcoming immigration policies I am confident somebody of your superior intellect supports and voted for. And I gotta know, in the not unlikely chance that Big Mac Mussolini gives your hubby an all-expenses paid one-way trip back to see the family, are you gonna go with him and start annoying their school boards, or are you gonna stay here and keep making yourself a laughing stock at ours? And all joking aside, and believe me, that's hard, because this is seriously a fucking joke. Or rather, it would be if it wasn't so fucking depressing that this isn't a joke. This is reality. And that reality is that Laura here is more than just an annoying, concerned Karen. She ran for Forest Lake School Board, and it appears she lost, thankfully, but she ran as part of the Minnesota Parents Alliance. And this is just like some Moms for Liberty shit, and while she didn't win, they have gotten people on school boards all over the state, including in Forest Lake. So now if you've got a kid in a Minnesota public school, instead of worrying about if they're learning reading, writing, and arithmetic, you now need to worry about the fact that the people making the decisions on how your kids learn about reading, writing, and arithmetic don't even know what a fucking pronoun is. And while those pronoun Pol Pots certainly do not care if your children learn anything of real value, they will be sending your public school children off school grounds for multiple hours a week during school hours to do Bible study. And if you're saying, oh, no way, that's a violation of the First Amendment, I would assume so too, but they are already doing it. It's a program called LifeWise Academy. It's a program being implemented in schools all over the country, including Pine City Elementary School right here in Minnesota. For 2 hours a week during school hours, they are allowing 1st through 5th graders to leave school and go to Journey North Church for Bible study. So yeah, I guess I'm glad I don't have kids, because the fact that Laura's exist and are making decisions on how they're taught, and Wise Life Academy is the types of decisions they'll be making, yeah, all that seems like a fucking nightmare. You don't say I didn't tell y'all that school board elections are important. But hey, nobody listened, and now we get to enter the find out stage of FAFO. So if you have kids in school and you think this is as dumb as, you know, it is, well then I guess you guys need to start being more like Laura and getting really loud and annoying at your school board meetings, because that's the only chance your kids are gonna have at not having a completely fucked education. Good luck, y'all.